We're almost done with Algebra Pace 1100, the fourth in the algebra series. And I got feedback from one student, a homeschool student, who's working her way through Algebra 1, and she said she thought this was the hardest pace so far. And she'd actually gone a couple paces beyond this, but she said this particular lesson and the next one were like the hardest part. And I can see why. There's a lot of, there actually is a lot of guessing work, okay? I like to call it more like a puzzle, all right? You can get it. There is one correct answer, and you're doing some detective work to try to get close to it. You don't have to do sometimes all of the possible answers. You might stumble upon the correct one a little faster. But let's kind of walk through what we would do with a problem like this, okay? This is similar to one of the ones you have for homework. So we have an x squared term, we have an x, but we have a term out front, okay? And so that's kind of new. What do we do with this 12? So the pace explains that we can set up, the two parentheses. Now they don't mention the FOIL method, but if you've been following along and you remember how to do the FOIL method, we can actually solve these pretty quickly in our head. So the first is taking whatever comes in the front, multiply them together. The last is the last two terms. So the first two terms multiplied together have to give us, in this case, 12. The last two have to give us the -5. And then when we add, once we multiply these two outer terms together and the two inner terms, and we add them together, we should be able to get this positive 11. Okay? So I'm going to just try some different combinations. So my favorite combination to equal 12 is 2 and 6. So I'm just going to try 2x and 6x, and let's just go with 5 and 1. Okay? So we can, from here, this would give me 12x squared. This gives me 5. We're good on that account. Is there any way we can add or subtract the outer and the inner to get 11? So the outer is 10x, the inner is 6x, and there's no way. You can't add or subtract them to get 11. So, all right, that's not going to work. If I do 1 here and 5 here, am I getting closer? Let's see. The outer is 2x and the inner is 30x. No, I'm not getting closer to 11. I'm getting further away. Where's my eraser? So basically I've tried two different, there's no sense switching the 2 and the 6. We've already tried all those combinations. So we could try 12 and 1. Okay, that's another combination, 12 and 1. And sometimes that's the one that'll work, okay? I think I'm going to get closer if I try 3 and 4. So I already have the 5 and the 1 here. Let's see what happens. So yep, this gives me 12x squared. This gives me 5. Outer would be 3x and the inner is 20x. Is there any way to combine 20 and 3, add or subtract them to get 11? Nope. So let's try reversing and do the 1 here and the 5 here. Okay, let's see what we get now. We still get 12x squared. We get 5. Outer, though, I get 5 times 3x is 15x, and then 1 times 4x is 4x. I'm getting close, okay? If I add them, I get 19, but if I subtract, I can get 11. All right, so I think I'm warm. Now I just need to figure out where do the positives and negatives go. So if I do -5 and +1, that would give me -15 and +4, which would give me -11x. So again, I'm close, but I'm not quite there. And so all I need to do is reverse it, make that one positive, that one negative, and I'm going to just do the whole FOIL method. Here we go. 3x times 4x, 12x squared. The outer is positive 15x. The inner is -4x, and then the last is -5. Put these two together, and we get positive 11x. Da, 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 da. Okay? So I'm just showing you that even as a teacher, I can't just look at it and immediately know the answer. There's no magic to getting the right answer. You literally have to try some different combinations. And you're trying two combinations at the same time. You're trying combinations that multiplied together give you the first one, and that the last terms multiplied together give you this term. And then you just have to keep swapping them around. If it doesn't work, try different numbers. If this hadn't worked with the 3 and 4, then I definitely would have tried the 12 and the 1 and see how that works. All right, so they don't give you a lot of problems. I think you have 8 or 10 of them to do on this homework lesson, so it really shouldn't take you too long. I would do a lot of work on scrap paper perhaps, and then transfer your answer over and just have some fun with it. Okay, treat it like a puzzle, be a detective.